Hey and welcome, Miss Kira Speaks. Before we get started, I ask that you watch the videos till the end, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. We're back again for another episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14, Episode 13, A Rum Punch to the Gut. Now, y'all almost got your girl in her pajamas, fresh out the shower, and it's late. But instead, you're just going to get this shiny, moisturized face. Anyway, let's get into this review because I'm going to keep cranking these things out and putting them up till I get all caught up. So the episode opens with the check-in. Todd has stopped drinking. Sheree has a team and she's talking models for She by Sheree. Marlo is getting ready for the trip, and when she gets back, the 30 days will be up. Kenya is laying out her fashions for Jamaica when Drew hits her up on the FaceTime. She's getting her lashes done and she plans on getting her hair braided. What did you think of those rules? Kenya says she didn't really take her seriously, and then they proceed to clown that party. Miss Kenya gives her quick rules on hosting a proper party. Kenya questions if Drew and Sonya are in a good place. Drew says she was the bigger person when Kenya wasn't there, and Drew says she's not the one with the issues. It is what it is, and Kenya reveals that she may be coming solo. She was bringing her cousin, but she's sick, and I think it was the after show that Kenya revealed that her cousin Shay had tested positive for the vid. But Kenya hasn't told anyone yet. My happiness isn't dependent on a +1, Kenya says in her confessional. And she plans to stay behind a couple days to celebrate her birthday with her family. Child, I'm about to try and run through this as quickly as I can to get to the good part. Fingers crossed! Sonya and Ross, they're getting their workout on in preparation for this trip. Ross wants to get his arms together and his chest looking right. Sonya's like, all right, we don't need all that now. You know Sonya knows her man is fine. They're being trained by Tyrell, Ross's best friend and Sonya's sister's husband. The kids come in and they show off their little push-up skills. Too cute. Sonya asks what the guys are planning for Jamaica. Ross says the resort has plenty of activities that they could get into while the ladies are busy getting into their drama. Sonya, she's convinced it's a work trip, so there will be no drama. Sonya, have you seen this show? Okay, girl. We are at Drew and Ralph's house. Ralph is hot and he wants to turn on the AC. He makes a joke about not wanting her hair to lift. Child. Drew thinks the Jamaica trip will be a good time to discuss his book. In her confessional, she says that Ralph promised to adopt Josiah. And then, out of nowhere, he spoke to Josiah's biological father. And he wasn't comfortable with it. So now, Ralph, he isn't going to do it. So many things. First, Drew said on the after show that she was caught off guard in Jamaica when Ralph said that he wasn't going to adopt Josiah. I was confused, and then I forgot that they do pickup sometimes after filming. But really, other than that, I totally call BS. I don't think that Ralph talked to anybody. I think that he just simply doesn't want that responsibility. I thought that they had changed Josiah's last name already, and I could be wrong. But if you're going to do all that, why not take the leap? And why would Ricky come before Drew and Josiah? Make it make sense. And I will end my thoughts by saying I can understand if Ricky was an active co-parent, but he's not. So I don't get it, child. Anywho, Drew, she's got on some cute boots when Ralph's publicist comes over for a visit. He introduces the two, and Drew says that she initially knew nothing about the book and she's worried about what it is that Ralph is going to say. It's kind of weird that Ralph felt the need to go on this journey by himself when the book is primarily about Drew's son. And the fact that Drew is kind of worried about what Ralph says, that says more about their marriage than anything else. She doesn't get to read the book, and yet he asked her to do the forward. Drew laughs. She's not comfortable writing something that she can't get behind. How can she write a forward without reading the book, Ralph? Again, make it make sense. It's travel day, and Sonia has arranged for separate sprinters to pick everyone up. Ross forgot his passport, so he's going to meet them at the airport. Sonia, she picks up Marlo, and she's got her friend / florist with her. Kandi later mentions that Marlo didn't want the people to see any of her sponsors. Kenya, she's in a sprinter with Sheree solo. Sheree, she's brought her friend Michelle. And at first I wondered why Sheree didn't bring Fatum, but then I forgot that she and Drew got into an incident that we didn't see, and so no more Fatum. Everyone, including Ross, makes it to the airport, and we see them land safely in Jamaica. They're on the bus on the way to the resort, and Sonia, she calls out Kenya for not having a guest. See, that's why you got hung up on, girl. Kenya tells her that her guest got sick. In her confessional, Sonia says, first Kenya was sick, now her guest, and she doesn't think that Kenya ever had a guest to begin with. Sonia asks for everyone to introduce their guests, and we get introduced to Todd like we don't know who he is. I was like, okay. Moneta introduces Heath, her husband. Child, Moneta is winning. You see Neo's wife file for divorce? How you get him? You know the rest. Drew introduces Ralph, who says he likes long walks on the beach. Oh, we know. Can we say Tampa? They arrive at the resort and it looks beautiful. Kandi tells us later that she's already been there. Sonia, she gets the keys and they hop in the golf carts and they're on their way to their rooms. Some guy waves at Kenya on the way there and they spin that cart right back around. Kenya says she's back on the market, and Sonia, she makes a good wing woman, asking all the questions and inviting him to dinner. Meanwhile, Kandi is sitting there getting hangry. They finally get back to moving and arrive at their destination, and Sonia announces that Kenya has a date for dinner. Marlo asks Ross if Kenya approached him. Marlo really be trying to act like Kenya ain't bad as hell. So they're in Sonia's master suite and everyone is complimenting the resort. Sheree needs to go to the bathroom and somehow she reveals that her ish don't stink. I mean, it could be close to that. You see her body, and they say when you eat right, child. But the girls, they ain't trying to hear that. Everyone gets some food and they are quiet and they are happy. Sonia wants her pat on the back after Sheree's party fail, and everyone, they oblige. She hands out keys and says, it pays to be nice to the host before you got here. Folks were worried about Drew's room, honey, but we later find out that she made out just fine. John, he's already texting Kenya, as he should. Everyone gets ready for dinner, and we see John come by Kenya's room to pick her up, and Kenya looks amazing. Kenya in her confessional says her first overall impression is he's a nice guy. And she's usually never wrong. Child, production pulls her card, showing us footage of Walter, Matt, and Mark. Ouch. She gives him fair warning that he will be grilled at the dinner. It's dinner time, and Drew gets to the table, and her and Sonia make nice, and she thanks her for the nice room. Everyone finally gets there, and Marlo calls Kenya's date a stray. Child. Moneta gives a toast, and folks start in on Kenya and her date. They ask how old he is. Kandi thinks he's 28. He did look 28. He reveals that he's 37. Production in the confessional says, I thought you said you didn't want a younger man. Kenya's like, nope, you're going to have to walk that back. I ain't say that. She says she'll take him 30 to 60. 30 to 60? I don't know about that. For me, I'm thinking 38 to 50. Anywho, Kenya, she's being her flirty self. Sonya asked Marlo about the boys, but Marlo, she don't want to talk about it right now in front of everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow, girl. Sheree, she asked Ralph about the book, and child, it's about to get good. Ralph, he talks about the book going well and the journey he went through. Marlo congratulates him on adopting Josiah, but not so fast. He brings up the whole Ricky thing. Marlo asked Drew if she knew this, and Drew explains. Child, and I'm confused because she didn't seem blindsided in this moment, but anywho, we shall proceed. Marlo, she is upset and she keeps asking a lot of questions. Kandi interjects. It's weird that Marlo is going so hard about it when she's got her own situation. Child, and why she say that? Ralph, he tries to defend himself, and Marlo, she keeps going. And somehow we get to Marlo saying to Kandi, your situation is weird. That your mother comes before your man. Baby. Drew's face was mine. Like, whoa, where'd that come from? Because what did one have to do with the other? But you know Marlo. Kandi says, that's not true, and Marlo needs to worry about her own situation. You don't think it's weird that you sent your nephews back and made them feel away? Hell no. You didn't think it's weird to let your man feel belittled when it comes to your mother? Kandi says he doesn't feel belittled. He's sitting right here. He can tell you how he feels. Marlo, she keeps going. And in her confessional, she says she feels a way about Kandi bringing up her nephews in front of mixed company. Marlo, boo, you on TV, so, yeah. And I found it crazy that she was talking about Todd like he wasn't sitting right there. She continues, kids are off limits, but apparently Brooklyn wasn't off limits. And didn't you just tell Monietta in another episode that husbands, kids, and mamas were off limits, and yet here we are? Kandi says, you said you sent them to their aunt who also has kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. Didn't you take care of your nephew? Kandi says, yes, she did. Took care of him the whole time and never kicked him out, and now he's a grown man. Marlo says, you take care of a man and your family? Kandi tells her, you've lost your mind. Mama Joyce said it. So your mother's a liar? Kenya says to Sheree, that's your friend. In her confessional, Sheree says she's not in it. Sonya, she tries to defuse the situation. Worry about your nephews. You can't be a mother like that and work as hard as you do. When they say Marlo can't read, old, stale, and tired. Monietta says we all have jobs. Kandi says she can relate, but she never told them to get the F out. Marlo says, and I never disrespected my husband for my mother if I had one. Kandi tells her, get a husband, and then you can tell me what to do with one. Heath and Kenya in the background, just laughing. And John too, before he suddenly disappears. Marlo tells Todd that she F's with him. What? The audacity. Todd says the effed up part is she's repeating BS that she know ain't true. Todd says he knows how she came into this circle. You bought your way into this circle. No one was your friend. And child, I believe Todd. Folks were like, Marlo says, I came with Phaedra. Todd's like, I watched, I know. Marlo says, Todd called Kandi country and lame when they were in Africa. Kandi says in her confessional, well, he fell in love with this country bumpkin then. And I know that's right, Kandi. And Marlo, how you... Just bringing up old stuff from like over 10 years ago. They married, got kids. Tired. Todd calls Marlo a clown. Kandi calls her a lying ass bitch. You're only known in Atlanta. Kandi says, bitch, I'm worldwide. And girl, I gotta get me my Kandi merch. A mug, a shirt, something. Production, they do a little worldwide check. We ain't even gonna get into it. Kandi says, you could pull up my songs in Japan on karaoke. Whole time, Kandi was saying it all with her chest. John has left the building while these folks argue. Sonya wraps it up and she wants them to be on their best behavior. Marlo apologizes and so does Kandi. Todd says, anybody else thirsty? Anyone else broke? Marlo says. Bye, lonely. That's Kandi. And that is where we end. Child, when I tell you this episode did not disappoint, at least not in the last 15 minutes. And I was for Todd because she was talking about this man right in his face like he wasn't sitting there. And Todd, he said what he had to say, but he was cool, calm, and collected. What are your thoughts on this episode? Please put them down in the comments. 2 more to catch up. If you have made it this far, put that shock face emoji down in the comments for the way Kandi and Todd gathered Marlo. Child, she activated Miss Kandi. But I hope you'll come back and join me for episode 14. While you're here, please check out some of my other content. Thank you. And before you go, please like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate you. Peace.
Peace.